My name is Wayne Herschel. I'm author of The Hidden Records. That is the book that I published with my partner Birgit Lederer in 2003. In my library, you'll look carefully, you'll see a Masonic Bible. It's an 1892 dated Bible that shows Orion's belt and the Orion cross. That is the representation of the cross of the churches. It's Orion. We'll look into that just now. Sumerian Kuduru stone with the Omega symbol on, very important replica that I have as an exclusive replica for the public, people who are collecting them. That is available. So is this, the sun stone of the Maya. People know it as the Mayan calendar. I'll show you that this is also a Stargate representation device. Some of these other pieces on my desk here, the Grail, it's a representation of the womb of Nut, that's the sacred feminine, 3 sun-like stars, and the sacred masculine beneath it is the 3 belt stars of Orion. And this is that star map celebrated in a ritual where they birth the sun disk out of the gold vessel. Well, let's start from the beginning, the earliest part. First of all, my symbols. This, I believe, is an Omega symbol, and I'm going to try and set out to verify that this is not fiction. Fiction has been hidden by fact by our science fiction movie specialists, but it's based on a part of history, and that's the best way to hide history, cloak it with fiction. The symbols that I've established as a symbologist since 2003, I'm just going to go through them very basically. The Egyptian sun disk, or the Ra symbol, the circumpoint, is a sun-like star, so it also will include our sun. As a monument on the ground would be represented with an obelisk. That is the symbol for just a star on its own. And of course on the ground, the pyramids I've found in Egypt represent a full star map where the circumpoint is the X that marks the spot, that obelisk, amongst 50 pyramids. That'll be another lecture. This symbol here with a sickle-shaped crescent is very unique. It's an exoplanet, a world associated with these sun-like stars. The bull horns, the T symbol, the Tau, and this A alpha symbol are all origins from Taurus. Scholars will say this is representation originally from a bull, but doesn't explain why. It's all worshipping the area of Taurus, the cosmic bull in the sky, or the Tau. The Tau is that T shape with the 3 suns forming that shape. A bull horn set with a sun in the middle. Very simple way of saying sun-like star in Taurus. You'll see that a lot in Egypt. The Ankh. It's the symbol for life, but there's a lot more here. It's those that brought through life from the Tau, the Taurus T. And this is the part on the top that is an elongated entity's head. It's like the shape of a head that is the gray in the study of ufology. But it's also a stargate. This whole lot is a teaching of life beginning on the earth. The way of teaching that a disk, that it flies in the sky, that the entities came in, a UFO type disk, a flying saucer if you want to call it that, connected with cosmic serpents. You add wings on it to teach that it had flight. You also would show it as a boat, the bark of the Egyptians, and Ra would be riding it. Representation for the Pleiades. Grapes as a bunch, a group of 7 dots, a group of not importantly placed dots in a circle, 7 birds. This leg of the bull is an Egyptian symbol for the Pleiades in my interpretation. Scholars say it's just a northern constellation. This is the Pleiades, you will see in the story. The menorah and also the 7 candles in churches represent 7 celestial lights. You'll see Orion is even in here, 3 in the middle that are aligned to these 7 on the top. Of course, the 7-pointed star, think of the Statue of Liberty with 7 rays of light. That's 7 aspect as representation for the Pleiades. This whole lecture is about the cosmic wormholes. Dragons, lions, serpents. Those are the 3 main ones. And of course, the unicorn, vines, the lotus, spirals. You see the cosmic line is usually shown with a crown. The crown alone is the symbol for the Stargate. The Vesica Pisces, sacred feminine womb opening created with the 2 circles, or the Omega symbol, or a circle with a line beneath it. These are symbols for the Stargate wormholes, cosmic wormholes that operate through stargates. The Solar Trinity make up his 3 suns in this position as it rises on the east. Above Orion's belt, you have these 3 suns, and the Pleiades are up in this area. Those 3 suns in that triangle is the womb of Nut, or in the Grail that's represented with the chalice, and the male anatomy represents Orion's belt. So it was never his belt, it was the male anatomy that aligns from the horizon. The Holy Grail and the Solar Trinity all connected with this Grail chalice. Secret symbols: the fleur-de-lis, the all-seeing eye, in ancient secret society or in ancient Egypt, the Jed column, and the Sumerians' tree of life. These are all representations for the creation, the place of where all life started, and where the souls go and are judged for reincarnation. This tree of life is the creation that most refer to as God creation. The Hebrew key of Solomon was quite a big deal for me. It's this key symbol that King Solomon used to represent Orion. He also shows this symbol when he gets down to the parchment that shows everything. The stars of Orion are the key of Solomon, which is also the cross of the churches. I've founded that since 2003. The Chi Rho is also a component of the cross of the churches. It's the Pleiades P with the cross of Orion together. You'll see how the cross has evolved over the ages. You all know the movie Prometheus. The researchers find an ancient star map with a repeating pattern in many ancient sites that decode the alien origins of the human race using the Vitruvian Man imprint or blueprint. That is basically the whole basis of my work, except mine is real, Pleiades is fictionalized. This movie has pretty much fictionalized my whole story, and it's quite sad because this should be taken more seriously. And when people think of it, they shouldn't think, oh yeah, that's some fictional movie. Well, the people in this story were Charlie Holloway and Elizabeth Shaw. They were the couple that found the star maps. It sounds very much like the story of my discoveries. And my partner who helped me co-write the book. My partner recognized the name Wayland is literally a combination of our 2 names, Wayne and Led. It's a nickname for her surname, Birgit Lederer. We just laughed that off as being just a coincidence. But if you look back at it again, somebody wrote to me and said, am I aware that my full name is encoded as an anagram out of the 2 characters with the name of the company, Wayland Industries, who funded this so-called star map that was the main part of the film, but was a corporation that funded this trip that they went through space to go and look for this star map, and where these clues were pointing where they should go and look for human origins. Now, if you look at the makeup of Charlie Holloway, Elizabeth Shaw, and Wayland, my full name is possible. I've got a very complicated, rare name, if you can call it that, but it's quite a big deal that it comes out of it. But for me to be a complete anagram, it needs to show that there's a message with it as well, and there appears to be one. I put this whole line at the top in a computer that does anagrams. Is it possible that Ridley Scott or the writers have sent me a message? Yeah, they know what I'm doing, but there's something coming in our near future that is so sacred that I need to just wait for that to happen first. Because if this has a message, it's saying to me, a hallowed holy wait, Wayne Basil Herschel. It's telling me to just hang on, sit tight, and just wait. There's something really big that's coming, and perhaps my work might even be used as a base to research it. Take that with a pinch of salt. Maybe it is, maybe it's not. Let's start from the earliest star maps. Ancient man began living in caves, and there are depictions in Lascaux in France of a cave painting that shows the bull. They call it the Hall of Bulls, or the Cave of Bulls. It has what I believe is Orion. This is my finding. Scholars found that this is probably the Pleiades, but please accept that it's a coincidence that they show it in the exact place in Taurus where the stars of the bull are. It's shown exactly the same way in this cave. Orion, bull, Pleiades, and look carefully here, there's a line going off to what I think is a face, if you look carefully there. So this dotted line was ignored by scholars. For me, it's the part of the star map. It even looks like a hand pointing the way to the face. What are the chances of that? If you follow Orion's belt through the main part of the V of Taurus, you'll find the Pleiades. But if you follow through the bullseye, I have a second line in grey. If you follow through the bullseye, that ancient tradition of shooting arrows into the bullseye is not a coincidence, it's teaching. But following through the bullseye is where you find the sun-like star that actually exists there. You've got Göbekli Tepe in Turkey. A lot of people are aware of these stone circles that have been found in this area with amazing design and workmanship. But if you look at the Google Earth image, the horns of the bull are still there as a geoglyph. Now there are geoglyphs of bulls in ancient sites around Europe, built on the ground with temples and very small versions, I must add. This is a very large version. I believe this is representation of the Pleiades and the X that marks the spot, the place of 3 suns. Scholars say there are more ruins to be dug up, and there are hits around these regions. That is basically the main area here, and you'll see the Pleiades shape is even made out of what they've found so far. That's what they look like. Each stone circle has T-shape, let's call it a structure to hold up something. You can see them in the circle. I'd say it's very obvious. This is an Ice Age dwelling. It would have had a roof that it holds. Wooden beams perhaps, and typical Ice Age dwelling, a huge insulating rubble mound would have been piled over it and plants grown on top of it. This insulates a place of dwelling against the Ice Age cold. And over time, when it was abandoned, guess what happened? It collapsed. The wood that was trapped beneath there would have rot, I would imagine, with the porous rubble that was with it, and there would be no remains of the wood over many thousands of years, but the people think that this has been buried. I say it's not. It's a very simple collapse of an ancient temple. So there we have it. It starts with Lascaux in France 17,000 years ago, and we have Göbekli Tepe, similar sort of age. It started off being guessed or assumed that it was around about 17,000 years ago, perhaps from what they found in this area, what biological samples, but now they've backtracked a bit and made it to be around about 12,000 years ago. But still, both of them very ancient. Both seem to show the Pleiades, and an exit marks the spot, just like in my star map that you're about to see unfold here. In earliest depictions, cave paintings in the Sahara Desert, Tassili Najjar has ancient astronaut type beings with these weird helmets. To me, this is what's important. We have 7 stars perhaps incorporated with it as well. Some of these pictures, I'm not going to give the full description where they are, just to protect them, because they get defaced quite often. But if you look closely at this one here, it looks like a flying hat. It has fire being produced beneath it. It looks like landing gear underneath it as well. And there's like a beam of light coming from it, and there's a stickman right there. That's a stickman being hit with this beam, just like the Travis Walton UFO encounter story. This is the San Juan del Oro cave area in Bolivia. Man with arms raised, that's called the Orance veneration position, where arms are raised, revering, showing something is sacred. The sun god, rays of light from the head. But one arm opens up into a spiral. This, I'm suggesting, is a stargate. And the rest of the details very hard to figure. But if you look at some of the others, you'll see bull-headed deities here. There's another one. Opening these spirals. I think this is depiction of the Milky Way. I'm sure other scholars have thought similar, but they won't say much about this opening, whatever this is here. It looks like stars and journey to and fro from stars and trying to tell a story. Another one, bull-headed deities opening what I believe is the Stargate wormhole. The Panther Cave in the Pecos region in southwest Texas shows probably the best cave painting of what I think is the Stargate. A ramp leading into it, footsteps going into it. The Tau T is there above it for Taurus, that is the cosmic address dialed up. And of course people in their arms raised position to venerate it as sacred or holy. This polished site near Tarapoto in Peru has what I think is a cosmic serpent and the Stargate opening here, but look at this, Pleiades, 7 dots. A star perhaps. The journey from the star is followed with a line. It goes right round to this part here where it opens up into the Stargate. The Inga site in Paraíba in Brazil has something pretty uniquely Pleiades representation, with this cluster of 6 orbs here for the Pleiades, but there are these 3 stars. This one's been chipped away in a triangulation effect, and the 4 to the side here for me correlate with Orion because they've filled in a cross between it here, and this is the Stargate opening. So what you're seeing is that Orion, Pleiades, and these 3 suns. That's my typical star map, and then a wormhole opening from it. Now, North Hegman Lake, Minnesota, has a man, arms raising the Orion's position for veneration, 7 little dots by his head. I think they're the Pleiades. Cosmic boats, the celestial ships that are shown in the sky above him, and something on the ground that looks like a sun or something radiating great light. This seems to happen all around the world. You see other cave paintings all showing the same theme, and they're continents apart. Like some others not too far, New Mexico, that's still over 1,000 k's, I'm pretty sure. And same bull-headed deities opening cosmic wormhole spiral circles or concentric circles, some sort of a rod to do it, marking with a hand, perhaps meaning it's founding civilization. Is an Orion obsession. You'll see one here, there, and here. And the Orion is also connected to what I think is the Tree of Life here, showing there's a connection between the Tree of Life and this entity opening the Stargate. Look closer at the bottom here. Pretty sure that that's the Pleiades. In the British Columbia area, that's Canadian stone artwork, 7 dots above the man's head. Some sort of connection to this man, like a vortex to his head. Again, that same sort of sun-like round half disc like we've seen in the others. We've seen it in 3 already, and what that is I couldn't tell you, but this is very important in this story, is the Pleiades, arms raised in the Orion's position and perhaps opening a Stargate. In the Utah site 3811, there is 7 dots in similar sort of Omega symbol or a wormhole opening. There's the symbol for the wormhole, in my opinion, telling the same story in a different way, and there is no chance these people had a connected civilization with such great distances involved. In the Cave of Hands in Patagonia in Argentina, there's one that shows more usage of the hand as being sacred, something that the hand does in these caves. They spray paint around their hands. This was a more recent one. These are the very old ones done with the oranges and reds. Look very closely here at what I think is a Stargate opening. It's also showing light radiation. There's a combination of 3 on this side and 1 on this side. Looks very sort of symmetrical. There's this line through the middle. One has an arrow, one has a dot. But these that connect up here through many dots is to one very large dot and 7 outer dots. I believe that's the Pleiades, sun-like star, the second one, and the third one is hiding behind here. If you remove the hands, that's what was probably painted over with the last artwork that these cave dwellers used over this one to show it was sacred. He actually blotted out a lot of it. And this is what I think it is. 3 suns, Pleiades, opening this wormhole, and this arrow on Earth, or a tree, perhaps saying that's where civilization was founded. In the Utah area, beautiful petroglyph sent to me by Marion Hunwick. She knew straight away this was an Orion man from studying my research. The picture on the side here is my interpretation. 7 dots above his head and a little orb, and I believe that's a Stargate opening. It's quite simple when you have something repeating and you have other research that backs up this is probably for real. The Orion man also always shows his male genitalia like emphasized. You'll see in all the others as well. That's quite interesting, and especially Orion man in Sumeria, the teaching of Gilgamesh becoming Orion man. Becoming Orion seems to be the king's altered state or teaching mechanism. That's how they showed the star map, as a deity being personified as an Orion man. Nearby, there's another one showing that same Orion man, male anatomy. But here we have 3 dots above the head and a sun, probably our sun, connecting to the 3 in the heavens, and this funnel opening in his hand. We are told in our earliest years of schooling, the first male and female on the planet was Adam and Eve. But look at this mural. This is showing a little bit more about Adam and Eve. They've shown them within these portals, and that it's connected to the cosmic tree and the cosmic serpent. It sounds like it's just tradition that, of course, this is the tree that the apple was taken from. And look at it more, I'd say not pictographically, but more deeper, and looking into why they're showing these rings here. Take the Hebrew words, for example, Elohim is the name for God that we've accepted in the Bible. First man, first woman. In the Genesis text says, Elohim said, let Adam and Eve have dominion over the earth. Hebrew spoken words of Elo or Eloi is people. Him, heavens. Adam, human. Eve, life. Now put all that into context, you get a whole different story. Those who came from the heavens said, let humans have life and dominion over the earth. He's speaking about an arrival here. This is the arrival of humanity that took over Neanderthal. Invasion of the planet of the apes. A Rosicrucian document shows just that. If you look very carefully here, what we've got is the sacred feminine standing on top of the world, and an ape on top of the world, chained to this ape. There's the solar trinity, and her womb is giving birth of one of them, and it shows a burst of light that there's a Pleiades connection here, and she is chained. I think this chaining is to say that it was locked up. This secret was only for the initiate to learn about the invasion of the planet of the apes. It was a reality, but we are the aliens. We are the invasive species that invaded the earth and took over, and Neanderthal didn't have a chance. Looking at other references for Orion as stars, this is an ancient document that scholars want you to believe that it's representation for the Southern Cross stars. Why would they put the Templar Cross amongst 4 stars? There's a much deeper reason for that, and my research shows they're measuring, as this man is doing with an astrolabe or with a star map, the rising of this cross above the horizon and the Orion's belt within it. And this is the secret of the cross of the churches. Strange that you got both of them in the picture. I think not. Everything is teaching secrecy, and this man cowering down and blocking his eyes as if it's a secret that he shouldn't be seeing. We've seen depictions in history of the cross that Christ was crucified on. I believe he was crucified on it for teaching about the secret of this cross of Orion, or in some cases the Tau cross. Both of them are the 2 parts of the star map put together, and you'll see there's the sun of his behind his head with the Orion cross in the middle. I believe that's a sun disk, and there's 2 others. So there's a 3 here, a trinity, a solar trinity. You see it here as well, and you see the 3 here as well. The secret of the 3 suns as a solar trinity is the basis of my work. You see that there's cross records that predate the Christian story, and they show the Pleiades included above this cross. And my work says that this is the cross of Orion that shows the way to a crescent world in this Pleiades area. This is the star map, and you're seeing it now in ancient seals. I'm going to show with hand symbols the secret of the ancients. Those are the 3 things that are used to show 3 sun-like stars positions in the heavens above near the Pleiades. There's the Taurus V, there's Orion, and there's the brightest star Sirius. Can you see the cross shape? If you follow through there, there's one part of the cross. There's the other with these 2 brightest stars of Orion. There's your cross shape. All you've got to do is measure 33 degrees of arc to find that position of a sun-like star with the Pleiades. And these are the 3 fingers showing, obviously, the 3 stars of Orion's belt that you follow in a row. These are ancient hand symbols that I'm reenacting here. Sirius, Orion, Taurus, 3 suns, and the Pleiades area. That is the most important one right there. Sol 1, I call it. There's that shape that you saw on the seals. Just like that. Cross the crescent near the Pleiades, the crescent world, the world where our ancestors came from. And close inspection of the area. Sol 3 is that one. This is the most important one. Sol 1 primary. The secondary, Sol 2. These are the names I've given for those 3 suns in this area. They really exist as sun-like stars, just like our solar system. In simplicity, I'm going to use that shape as well. I spoke about the Masonic book that I had early on. I'm going to go through it very quickly because there's a lot of detail here, and you can pause your screen and go back later and see the finer detail. But this is what I'm saying. Orion's belt is seen here with Orion. If you can't see Orion, I've done that. And of course, even the sword of Orion is shown here with that piece of the artwork on the book. But the whole of the star map is here. There's Orion showing the way. You follow through the little marker point. This one has a marker point to show which direction to go. Even the cross shows which way to go. Through a stargate. A crown is a symbol for a stargate. Through to that area there. A wormhole opening. This is Jacob's ladder reference in the Bible, where the angels came down from the sky. And of course you'll see the Pleiades shape in if you look very carefully. There's the full story. I'm not going to go too much on it now, but come back later and pause and then go to and fro each one, and you'll see the whole cover shows everything. The first degree tracing board of Freemasonry is here. There's little dividers, symbols added in. There's the solar trinity at the top, and the bloodline from the initiate is taught in ancient rites that we are the human bloodline of the angels. Follow that cross and it gets right to that area there. This is the star map on the cover of this Masonic Bible. This is a good place to pause in between my lecture because it is very long and it's a lot to go through. So let's take a breather if you can in between these portions of the lecture. Islam, Christianity and Judaism are connected with one very, very important character in the ancient records, the story of Abraham. Martin Molnagov of Hungary found this depiction in an old temple that is very, very ancient, thousands and thousands of years old, and it shows Abraham coming out of a door. Is a crescented world, if you can imagine. That's a sun and a world in front of it. Look carefully here, that's the sickle crescent. That's why I say this is the representation for the exoplanet. There's 2 here as well, and the one in the bottom is the most important one, and these are the 7 stars of the Pleiades here. And we have Abraham doing something very unusual. I found this after speaking to Martin, that this should be an Orion man. Here is Abraham doing some sort of secret ritual. There was obviously secrets even in those times to show that he is Orion man. He's folding his arms twice, pulling his arms out of his sleeves and sticking them loose on top and his arms underneath, making the double cross formation of Orion. It's pretty much telling the secret in that way. Now look at the Hindu origins. Martin also found an amazing thing, that this symbol here is for the bull's head of Taurus. I was able to add to it by finding the earliest depiction showing what I believe is Orion being depicted by the swastika. Through the bullseye, I showed early on in the star map, you go through that direction to find an exoplanet and a sun-like star. And there's probably a rod with a what would you call it, a fork, or like they call it the Vajra that opens the stargate. This one is actually all connected through to the star map. That's what I'm showing here. Orion, the bull's head of Taurus, and the sun-like star and exoplanet. The basis of the Om of Hinduism is based on the star map. Now, if this is true, we've got to look at the 4 biggest religions, the 4 most popular religions: the Christian cross, the Hindu Om symbol here as you see it, the Muslim crescent with star, and the Jewish menorah. My opinion is this star map was split up in ancient times, where the kings of these great empires decided to take each part of the star map for themselves and keep it encoded for their elite families only. And the commoner, the people that were under the kingships, were not privy to this information. That's the Orion cross right there, cross of the churches. As I said, I proposed that Orion is the cross of the churches, shows the way through to the bull's head, the horns, the facial feature area. It's that V shape in the bull's eye. An exoplanet like the Sumerian text. Islam never started off with this symbology. It was added to it hundreds of years later when they saw that obviously the Sumerians, their ancestors, had great veneration over this symbolism. And of course the menorah, 7 candles, 7 Pleiades, and of course the Star of David is connected to this. They're all fighting over ownership of this star in their own way, keeping a piece of the star map, in my opinion. It's just a theory. So what are the chances that the star map was split up in 4 different icons, all having the same story, same place of origins near the Pleiades? If you look at the Egyptian story, the most sacred area in ancient Egypt is not the Sphinx area in Giza, but where the gold obelisk was. This is an area near Memphis, and there was this clustering group of pyramids that I think had the shape of a leg of the bull. And this represents the Pleiades, and next to the Pleiades, this is the exit marks the spot amongst 50 pyramids that are laid out on the Nile bank. This is the middle of the star map of all the pyramids, and this is where the most sacred monument was, that was gold capped. The only one that is proven to be gold capped, by the way, marking on the ground that sun-like star. In the Stonehenge theory, my theory that Stonehenge is part of the star map, just as old as Stonehenge is the Winterbourne Stoke Barrows, and it's in that leg of the bull shape with components of mounds that are over 6,000 years old, and it probably had a causeway leading to it just like that, same star map. The Tikal pyramids of the Maya, very ancient civilization, earliest pyramids built there were in this configuration of 7 with a causeway to one very important temple pyramid. And they built many pyramids around here afterwards, so it got very confusing. But if we look at the earliest blueprint, it was that for the Pleiades and that sun-like star, in my opinion. We're looking just at these 2 at the moment, Sol 1 and the cluster. The leg of the bull shape you'll see in the Dendara zodiac disc very clearly as the center point. This is the most important part, and this strange connection to Taurus or Taurus. There's this hippo deity that is symbolic of childbirth coming from this leg of the bull, and it has this weird branch connecting to it. And amongst the whole area around it, there's the bull of Taurus. If any researcher of Egyptology tells you the bull didn't represent Taurus, just remind them this is the proof of the cosmic bull being a Taurus representation when it is shown in the position as a zodiac, with the complete zodiac in position here. And beneath it, in the upright position, is a bull-headed deity, a star, and well, that's part of the Virgo constellation as well here. But this star and the little bull, and there's a bird on top of it, has this X that marks the spot. There's that bull's leg, and that's the sun-like star in that position. There are those stars right there. That's the one we're talking about with the bull-headed deity and the leg of the bull and the Dendara zodiac disc. So this is the star map again, repeating itself over and over. Every civilization we look at, we still see this pattern being very important. Looking at Tikal now in a bigger overhead plan, you see this solar trinity configuration. This is an extra temple in here, but these 2 are very important, and the third one is very small and hardly even mentioned in that tiny little dot there. And they built these pyramids after it. So there are a lot of other pyramids around here, this region. They built them every so often to celebrate the seasons. So they built them in 2s as well. So it lost the original design print. They lost the original story by building more pyramids. To decode a star map thereafter would be very difficult. It would have to be the earliest teachings. The story got twisted and turned by all the kings. So it's not surprising that their monuments became haphazard and built erratically. There's Winterbourne Stoke Barrows. You can see that leg of the bull shape here. That's where the Stonehenge monument is, and it's got this huge ring around it as well. There's a third group of mounds down here that are not allowed to be farmed over. That's why it's still green there, but again untouched. There's something more to be researched here. I will be traveling there shortly to go and have a look what's amongst the trees. That's the star pattern. You can see the third one is even fitting here. So all three are here. Sol 1, Sol 2 is in the trees, and Sol 3, this elongated mound. My theory of the sacred feminine is that it's these three sun-like stars. That's the Tau of Taurus, there's the Pleiades, and there's the womb of the goddess Nut in Egypt. So I've shown her in the sacred feminine above and the mounds on the bottom. The sacred masculine, the blade. The male anatomy is the monument on the ground, and there's the triangle pointing down, the sacred feminine. And if you look at the way that this tradition has evolved over time, I'm going to show you all the different traditions of the same thing. The Solar Trinity, 3 intersecting circles on that position. There's the story of the Hebrew, 2 triangles merging. It's these 2 triangles merging together as one. The Tau, there's the shape of the T formed by those 3 suns. Orion on the ground, these are the 3 Giza pyramids that are on the ground that align to these 3 in the sky. The key of Solomon is also the symbol for Orion's belt. And of course the keyhole symbol is that sun and radiating light. The Japanese tombs have this keyhole symbol. That's all this veneration of the exact same star in the sky. There's the Grail representation. I've superimposed the Grail with the Tau. That's the sacred feminine, the chalice, and the male anatomy, Orion's belt. As above, so below. Birthing of a sun from that chalice is the ancient ritual of celebrating communion with the heavens. The 2 circles, the Vesica Pisces, makes the sacred feminine womb opening. And the lingam and the yoni, that's the ancient Hindu tradition, same thing. The Omega symbol is shown more with the sacred feminine, obviously because it is a portal. It is this connection to the heavens through a gate or a portal. So the feminine side of it is celebrated with the cosmic womb more than the male anatomy. My discovery of ancient stargates now needs to be compared to what science has already established. Wormhole theory, bending time and space, as you see in this diagram, where one part of the universe can be reached by changing time and space, like literally folding time and space, that you are here in this solar system and go through a wormhole and you're somewhere very far away in another solar system. This is real science. And it's as simple as that. You go in one side here, and traverse through this wormhole stargate and come out in another stargate in a different part of the universe. I think a different part of our galaxy would be still quite an accomplishment in a solar system nearby. Now look at the shape. One funnel traversing through time and space and then landing at another funnel. This is a scientific diagram. The Egyptians depicted in their celestial boats that traveled the cosmos. If they traveled through the stars, they show the lotus symbol as a wormhole opening conduit, and both front and back of the boat seem to explain quite a big secret. I discovered this papyrus meaning in 2005, somewhere around about there, and did a CNN news release on their social media platform just to establish the copyright date timestamp. The papyrus of the Jed Ankaraf, it's very hard to pronounce, papyrus shows what I believe is something that landed on the back of the Sphinx in Egypt. And we'll go through the details of it now, but right at this very moment, look at the depiction. This is a diagram that's explaining what's going on here. It's like an annotation explaining from the womb of Nut, and then this is the boat that the ancients traveled in through this cosmic wormhole stargate ship. Now that's exactly what I'm showing. Have a few seconds just to go to and fro and read the description. That's my full interpretation, and it's very hard to refute when you see what follows. My friend Mark Scott in the UK wrote to me and said, am I aware that the Egyptians use the Alpha and Omega symbols and the flail and the, or what is it called now? Can't think of the name. But you can see the Omega symbol right here. The crook. That's what it's called. This is such a stupid name, really. The crook and the flail. Okay, the Alpha and the Omega symbols. And he does his arms, or positions his arms, I should say, better English, into a cross position. And he does it a second time with the crook and the flail. And this is where the double cross insignia is being duplicated. I just had that to add to Mark Scott's finding. And the hieroglyph to the explained to rule is that symbol there, which is the flail. And it's the alpha symbol, isn't it? You can see it, an alpha on a stick, really. And of course it has three pieces in the makeup of it here for the three suns, in my opinion. Here are three symbols that need to be known before we go any further. I'm proposing, and some people have proposed this before, but I'm doing it with reasoning and trying to verify it with evidence. The cosmic serpent, the cosmic dragon, and the cosmic lion are all the same thing. They are all cosmic conduits. They have encoded it this way to hide it, that the powers that be in the past have used these three main symbols. There are many more. There's over 20 of them. But these are the top three all around the world. The dragon, you know, from China very well. The Egyptians, Sumerians loved the serpent. And a lot of them use the variation of the lion as well. The lion seems to be the oldest, but early civilizations in our world preferred to use the serpent, the mouth opening. There's the cosmic conduit opening, and going in one side and coming out the other. This is basically what I'm saying. I had a near-death experience in my early 20s in a motorcycle accident, and I believe I came to this place down a cosmic conduit as a soul and was allowed to literally understand the basis of the journey of the soul and the meaning of life. And the top of the cosmic tree of life, has this amazing pattern, just like a magnetic field, and there's this biosphere in the middle. I have it all at my website, wondrism.org. But these are these branches of the tree that we are riding, that the ancients managed to use a technology that they could actually traverse with ships through these cosmic conduits. So it's not just for souls, it is for solid matter as well, if you know the science, if you can traverse with Stargate technology. And of course that's the star map there, and they would pop in the Stargate and come out in our solar system through the dragon head mouth. And that's the basis of this story, the Alpha Omega symbol. And it's the Revelation text of Genesis. I'm going to explain all that right now. In the Revelation book, chapter 1, verse 8, the reference is, I am the Alpha and the Omega, the beginning and the end, which is, which was, and which is to come. Let's look at these words and break them apart and see how it is encoding something far more important. It's a story of a man that appears riding a cloud, or something that produces a cloud, which we've seen most UFOs do anyway. But what he has in his right hand is his cosmic address that he explains this is who he is and where he comes from. I pretty much believe that is what it is, and that's what I'm proposing. And of course it's that star map in Taurus, where they came from, right there. 7 stars, Pleiades, and the exoplanet in a solar system near the Pleiades. The Alpha symbol, scholars have decoded, started right from the beginning of bull worship. The Apis bull, especially in Egypt, they called it the Apis. And you can see the strange shape. Look how it changes into that very simplified pattern, just to I suppose to draw it, to depict it. It's a V shape with across is the ears of the bull. Notice the angle tilt as well. That's why I'm showing the star map position of Taurus. Taurus has this head tilt as it rises on the horizon. There is this V that's on its side. It's a V shape on its side. And that's how they showed it in Egypt. And of course the symbol that when it first started was tilted to remind it. This to me proves that it is the Taurus symbol for Alpha. Alpha is not just a bull, as scholars say, it is Taurus. That's where I take it further. Right there. Simple reasoning. It's quite an amazing bit of cosmology, cosmogenesis. This is the place where we come from, right up here. Behind the bull's head, that's where the Pleiades are, exoplanet and sun. Is it a coincidence? NASA, the Russian space exploration, the most famous science fiction movies of Star Trek, Stargate, they're all using these symbols of the Alpha and the Omega, particularly the Alpha. There's the NASA shape that is also on its side, the Russian version. I mean, how could they even have the same shape to start with? It just doesn't make sense. They would both choose the same thing. They know things. Their powers that be know this history. The Baphomet head is another lecture another time. The Masonic so-called goat head is the strange shape, and it could be called a goat head in some cases, but this is the human blueprint code inside that geometry. That's a whole different story, and I'm not going to go into it now. But isn't it an amazing coincidence? All these symbols of the greatest achievements in space travel and in science fiction have chosen the symbols representing, in this case, the Omega, the Alpha. There's the evolution of it from bull worship, the Aleph. Think of the name Aleph. Okay. That symbol there, that became the Alpha. Symbol A represents Taurus. Right, let's look for clues now. While we're searching for the meaning of the Omega symbol, look at ancient murals, depictions of the Christ with Mary and something happening in the sky. Of course, there's usually a bull depicted as well in the manger and a star on Mary, and he's pointing his three fingers to the heavens for the three suns. Look at the sky. Cosmic conduits. There's your cosmic serpent. It looks gold in this depiction. Maybe it really is gold when you see it opening in the sky. Something like this opened in the sky, and I don't think this is just artistic, or could you call it artistic impression or artistic makeup. I think this is something they really saw. Depictions of God opening a wormhole to that place that I said earlier on was where the Tree of Life is. There are pyramid monuments in this area, and strangely there's 7 here. It could be for Rome as well. It's hard to say. But the most important thing here is the God figure, cosmic conduits, and representation of, I think, the 7 stars on the ground, as above, so below. Is this Rome, or is this the place of creation? Also has that star map on the ground. The Mayan and Egyptian connection of riding cosmic dragon serpents, ancient astronaut helmet. We're going to be discussing what he's holding just now, but look at the symbology, riding the serpent. Illuminated manuscripts. This particular one, I don't want to mention too much because a lot of these things I'm trying to protect for other lectures, but if you look for these images on my website, I do give a lot of detail openly and easily available to the public. Here we have a cluster of stars, a sun and a crescent and another sun. So there's actually 2 up here and a third one up here. Out of these 3 suns, okay, this is 3 suns here, 1, 2, 3, the main one here, and from near the cluster. I think this is just trying to explain the story in 2 pages. They're doing it double. There's a cluster of stars near the sun, and angelic beings, an angel being, a flesh and blood being that comes from the heavens. Advanced technology, of course. This is a teaching mechanism of flight. An interesting thing here is they're taking people away, destructive people on the earth at times in the past. You also see a very benevolent dragon head, and there are 7 dragon heads for the 7 suns. And look at the face. Does that look like a ferocious animal, or does that look like something totally sacred and benevolent? Absolutely benevolent, for sure. And the rod is not hunting the dragon or slaying the dragon. These are the rods that they use to open the gates. Another one with 7 heads. It looks like he's sad. There's something going on. Pleiades, 2 suns, and the third one behind the head. There's the Pleiades. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 heads for the 7 stars. Goes through 2. I think there's the journey through near the 2 other suns to get to our sun, perhaps. It's a good time to mention the serpent mound and my theory on the meaning of the serpent mound. This is a cosmic serpent, and there's a lot happening with this cosmic serpent and the spiral wormhole. On the ground there's the map. There are also 3 which I believe are Orion aligning with it. And pretty much Sol 1, Sol 2. I'm not too sure on which one is which, but just look at the simplicity of there are multiple suns near a cluster. There's quite an amazing bit of geometry here. These 3, let's call them bends in the serpent, the 3 coils. They're actually 7 coils. If you look at each angular change, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 coils. Mark Scott should be credited for that. He suggested, of course, there is another representation of the Pleiades connection to it. There's another one under the tree here, which is a theory of 3 being near the face, and probably one that's lost over here. We're still trying to dig deeper into this mystery. So in that case it would be Sol 2, Sol 3, maybe Sol 1, or if there is a second one here, it could be the 3 by the Pleiades coming to our solar system. That probably makes more sense. So it's being debated amongst our researchers that are on the Hidden Records team. There are those multiple angles, all geometrically laid out for the 7 coils. Cosmic serpent in Egypt with the portal opening, the bull horns. On the back of the bull's head is where the Pleiades and the sun star are, and it's opening on the back. I believe this is the symbol for the Sphinx in Egypt. This is the ground zero first landing in Egypt. You'll find tombstones all over the world with the Ouroboros, serpent eating its tail. It's just the secret of the cosmic serpent. There are 3 loops in this one for perhaps the 3 suns, and the 7 stars, of course, inside as being the cosmic address. This is a very good time to look at some other Stargate theories that many researchers have established over time, that you have these really strange gates that are standing on a platform without a building. I'm pretty sure this is part of the connection to the Earth, made of stone, large volumes, and some sort of device either in front of it or behind it. This is earthing the device. If it isn't inside a pyramid, it needs to have some sort of stone earthing into the ground. And this style you'll see in many different variations all around the world. This is Bolivia, pre-Inca. Another one of very similar design. The Gates of Nations in Persepolis, Iran. It's just a gate all standing on its own. In the Tonga Pacific Island area, I'd call it a trilithon, pretty much like Stonehenge has. And of course, we've got to mention Stonehenge. There was one in front of the causeway, just like that. It's gone now, it's fallen down. And of course, the encoded gates for all 3 suns all over the world. I'm just going to take 4 of the main examples. There are literally hundreds of these in monarchy established kingdoms, and even in the Da Vinci painting of the Last Supper. There's your big window for this, the gateway to Sun 1, Sol 1, 2 and 3 on both sides of it. So just remember this pattern: one big one in the middle and 2 smaller ones on the outside. You see it in Paris, Egypt, the Inca. It's just 3 similar sizes, but you'll see this pattern all over the world. Patterns in churches, Masonic temples. The wreath is another symbol for the Stargate, and beneath the wreath is 3 portions of the wreath, I believe, for Orion. Pleiades, this is the gate to our place of the ancestors, a sun and an exoplanet in front of it. That's why it has that sickle shape. In ancient writings and illuminated manuscripts, usually you see the dragons with a 3 pattern, 3 suns. Usually the crescent is shown on the right with 1, the sun on the left, and the most important one in the middle. Dragons are cosmic serpent conduits, the wormhole technology used by stargates. This is quite an amazing Greek record of Athena with the bull. Sorry, not Athena. Europa. Europa has this, let's call it a cloth or a veil in the omega shape behind her, behind the bull's head. The sacred feminine, the bull, the alpha, the sacred masculine. Encoded simply as that. This is the area where the Pleiades and the 3 suns are, and that, I believe, is an omega symbol. Martin Molnagov of Hungary, I think, was first to find this one. Absolutely concur, and of course the big Stargate right around it. The Chi-Rho, there's been a lot of my work that breaks up the cross of the churches into 2 cross patterns. One is this Chi-Rho with a P in front of it, and of course the long cross is a larger star encompassing area, but this is the main part of Orion and Pleiades. Now, of course, the Alpha and Omega is usually shown with it. You'll see it in depictions again with the Stargate around it, the Christ figure. There's your main sun behind the head and 2 on the sides, and the vines, or let's say in this case the cosmic vines of the churches are a definite candidate for the cosmic wormhole. These are the cosmic conduits in churches. And of course he has the P for the Pleiades, and you'll see how the stars actually make the shape of a P as well, that the cross of the churches is used to find Orion, to find the area where the Pleiades align to the main primary sun. It aligns with the end of that P. Many of them, many stargates, decoding the Chi-Rho, the Alpha and the Omega with the Chi-Rho. This is how Orion rises on the eastern horizon. There's the Pleiades up there. I'm going to squash these 2 together and zoom in. The X, the Chi-Rho. Look at that P shape. Those are the components encoded as stars. Simple as that. Christ figure, there's the Pleiades, there's that main sun star behind the head, and of course the cross is used to find it, and points to the 3 with thumb and 2 fingers to these 3 suns in the area around the Pleiades. Right, the Omega symbol in history, it has a lot of mystery and a lot of ground historical earliest times establishment. It's used globally in paranormal depictions. It's used in the Greek alphabet. It has ties to history of megalith. The history of the megalith is tied into the Omega. Mega means large or important. Megalith, large, important rocks. Symbol meaning O, mega, a large, great, important O. So it's a mega O. It suggests some sort of ring that had paranormal mega importance. If true, what is this very large ring object with a base? The Stargate. There's no doubt in my mind. You're going to see how it unfolds here. Me showing a whole lot of evidence proving that theory. Proving that it is that. This is the portal gateway, a Stargate. And the cosmic wormhole serpent that opens up, it looks like a serpent, but it's a plasma ribbon, one of the branches of the tree of life that is being used in technology to traverse material through the gate. Not souls, but material. People, spaceships. A very big one, obviously a spaceship can pass through. The Christ story has a lot of the secrets of the Omega symbol as a stargate. You'll see little dragon heads here. There's a dragon head, another dragon head, and little dragon heads on this depiction, the hand of heaven, the hand of God, coming down from this portal from the heavens. That's in the Christ story. Two really depictive doors of heaven, so to speak, in the Christ story. Here's a picture of the cosmic serpent with the Christ. It looks like the Pink Panther, and it's very friendly looking, non-dangerous, non-aggressive looking serpent. 3 stars in the sky, and he's pointing that you use these 3 stars of Orion's belt to find the exoplanet that is associated as the Bethlehem star. And of course the letter around him just looks like the gate itself. He's probably standing within the portal. If you look at the complete illuminated manuscript depiction, the whole story follows down through the cosmic dragon. So it's not a serpent, it's a cosmic dragon. And the tail shows where our place in the cosmos exists. 3 suns and a 4th. Ours. This is our sun, perhaps. That's why there's 3 in this triangulation and a 4th one. It could be in different ways seen. Perhaps that's our sun. But this is the general pattern that is usually followed. It's a triangulation. The triangle points down to our sun. I'll show some more examples of that. Ancient murals. This is one fantastic mural. That's called The Wisdom Emanating from God. It's Italian. It's in one of these ledger panels called La Sapienza Immanta da Dio by Sano di Petrio Dimensio in 1471 in Siena, Italy. The amazing thing about this one, not just the Stargate and the Sacred Feminine floating through it, but she is encoding her secret in this banner. A banner is another reference for a cosmic serpent. Definitely another one that's added to the list. But the T of Sapienta tells a lot. It's the T for Tau. It's a Tau symbol for Taurus. And Sapientia, now this is quite a more than a coincidence. Sapien, Homo sapien, Tia is also the name Sacred Feminine or human. This is the story of humanity. The Christ is depicted in this mural with 3 suns on his shoulder. Not just one, all 3 are here. The Inca murals of Capac show the cosmic lion or the cosmic puma. The tongue of the cosmic puma has a ring through it. There's the story of this cosmic, let's call it a plasma ribbon here, passing through the ring stargate. And this being the ring stargate. It looks like this according to the Incas. He has a bull crown. He has a star. He has the stargate symbol on his ear decorations. The Maya have similar headdress, like an earphone, that look the same as this initiate going through the Stargate. This is a story for another lecture. In Egyptology, they show the teaching of opening the cosmic serpent with the rod. It's not killing it. And it passes through the veil. The serpent holds the veil that it passes through. Martin Mondegob of Hungary found this one, and the veil is his credit. That's another teaching mechanism of passing through the veil. More depictions of cosmic serpents. I was very fortunate to find the Shen symbol is the main Egyptian symbol for the Omega. The Shen symbol is the cartouche. The cartouche is where the king writes his name. Is it likely that the king's name is put inside the Stargate and it's stretched like this, obviously to fit the text? He is the watcher, he is the keeper, the gatekeeper of the Stargate. We have 2 on each side here, the one main one with one very important sun. There's many variations of it, and of course beneath it as well, the lotus is the portal opening, or the cosmic serpent mouth. There's many, multiple teachings, all intermingling over time. Where I found the Grail, the secret of the Holy Grail, the Omega, is at the Suku Temple in Java, Indonesia. And you'll see the Omega symbol here with 2 dragons making that shape. and the deities inside, and 3 title symbols, probably for the 3 suns at the top. Very large-headed beings. You can see some of the large heads here. Now, isn't it amazing? In Scotland, the Rodney stone has the same dragon combination to make this teaching of the Omega symbol for the Stargate. And I believe inside here is the 3 suns and a spiral and the Pleiades. That's where I found the origin of the meaning of the Holy Grail. The 3 suns make this chalice. Orion is the male aspect, and that you follow Orion's belt, the male aspect, the sacred masculine to the sacred feminine womb. And this birthing of the one sun in the womb is the mystery of the Grail, and the ritual of the Grail in communion, where you birth the sun as a sun disk out of the Grail. I have a video on that released recently on YouTube. But here it is here with the cosmic serpent around it. This is the origin of the Grail that I found at the Suku temples in Indonesia. It's important to show this as we get more clarity as we move along, because it's involving cosmic wormholes. That is the Rodney stone depicted in my graphic. The serpent dragon is sometimes shown as a cosmic horse with either the unicorn horn or let's call it a plasma ribbon that passes off the top of the head. There are many variations of the Celtic Scotland stone carving showing a trinity. There's the triascal sacred trinity depiction. 3 spirals and a triangulation for 3 suns. I believe this is, each whirl is for a Pleiades, like a dragon head, 7 dragon heads. In this case, 7 whirls on a rod, I believe, represent the Pleiades. Here is the 3 suns in the origins of the Trinity in churches. They have the cross beneath it and a 4th orb. I'm proposing that is our sun in this case. That is the Pleiades. The Pleiades are never shown often in these depictions, and Orion is the way to find them. Here's another one. Just have a look at the interpretation that I offer. The Chernobyl seals are the lion and serpent combination. It's I can't really pronounce it. Yaldabaoth legend from ancient Egypt, and the Essenes used it, and it's an Illuminati symbol. There's the main sun, 2nd and 3rd, the lion opening, the lion's mouth opening on the main. There's another one, but this one just shows the Pleiades, color coded for simplicity and to see the patterns. Right, this is a good time to bring in some of my star map theory. For those that don't know my star map theory, I'm just going to cover them pretty lightly here, but I've got some really stunning graphics. This is involving Mars. That's what Mars looks like today. Scientists say it once had oceans, but they still showed with deserts because they still don't have proof of biological life just yet. And because of that, that is what you're led to believe. But it would have been green. There's not only biological life that once existed there, about 17,000 years ago, before I think an impact destroyed it. It should really be shown like that. And there's some things on Mars that a lot of people don't know exist. For example, the true high definition picture of the Mars face that took me a lot of time and effort to piece together. This image was released without the shadow. I took the light and shadow from the Viking image and actually overlaid it over a very high resolution image of an overhead shot of the Mars face. You can see the eye. A lot of enhancement on the eye. I must be, what's the word? I would say it's exaggerated. I just want people to see there's a definite line around the eye. I've made it more emphasized just so you can see there was something there. Here's the area of the eye. That's how it is. That's without being modified. It's very gentle, but it is a definite pattern. But look at the debris pattern all over the Mars face. This is right in the center part of the forehead. This is the X that marks the spot on the face. The third eye position. There was a little mound here. This is the top of this very small little pyramid that's on the forehead of the face on Mars. Block ruins everywhere. Everywhere around this area there are thousands of block ruins, all straight edge. I have a higher resolution image that I use for my live shows. We go in close and look at the edges. All of them look like blocks. That's just one portion. You'll see they are strewn all over the show. Every little bump and mountain here has dirt and dust over these blocks. Another thing that a lot of people don't realize, there's a face on Mars on Earth, and it's on the border of Israel, on the Jordanian border. It is not as large as the Mars face, but there's a house on top of it to give you an idea. And the area where it is found is in Sukkot. And how I found it will give you goosebumps. If you don't get goosebumps from this, then what can I say? It involves the story of Jacob's ladder. This is the story that unfolds that mentions the face of Mars on Earth. And this is the Masonic star map. I don't want to go too much into it. 3 symbols for Orion's belt. And that is my depiction of it. I'll just leave it here for a few seconds. You can come back later and study my analysis here. But it will be another lecture at a later date. The story of Jacob's ladder. He's supposed to be dreaming, asleep, and he dreams of angels. He was not dreaming. He actually spoke about his journey where he came to the area called Sukkoth, the biblical epic of Jacob's ladder. Before seeing angels that came down from the heavens, he explained it was near Sukkoth, where he saw, and it's written in my especially 100-year-old Bibles and beyond, the face of God. When I saw that written, it just like clicked in the back of my mind. This could be a face monument, because that's all they speak about, is this place where there's a face of God. It's not really a man that he's speaking to, but he saw a face of God. So I think we should look for what I've shown in the back of this depiction. That. So what I did, I looked at Sukkoth on Google Earth and zoomed in, and I came straight onto ground zero just by finding the area of Sukkoth on a Google Earth depiction. This is the Google Earth image that Google Earth should be credited with, and this is what I saw. I stood there staring at the computer, absolutely speechless. That's the image that I'm promoting. It's been highlighted from multiple images that have been pieced together. You can see the detail. On Mars we have one eye and an eye socket. On Earth it's the other one has got that. The left hand side is the eye remains, and the other side just an eye socket. Same hairline, a bearded man. But there's something really important about this little area here. Would you believe this is the place where they found the first evidence of the word Elohim in its oldest manuscript, where it speaks about multiple deities as God. So it can't possibly be one God creator. These are multiple deities that came from the heavens called Elohim. The historical site where the oldest manuscript using the word Elohim was discovered. And I prove it was used in plural in context as we go ahead now. On Mars, this picture of a rock. I'm going to just enhance it a little bit. This is the fair color of what the ground is. I'm not sure if it's white, but I have used a little bit of artistic license to just lighten it up to show it in the middle. But that is the image. There it is. There's the source image. You can see the nose hole, 2 eye sockets, and of course it breaks away for the jaw. It's quite likely a human fossil of a skull. By star map on Mars, there's the Mars face position. Coincidence, near the Mars face we have a whole city of pyramids, a cluster of pyramids, and coincidence number 3, it has the biggest geometric mountain with a triangulated edge, the DNM pyramid. There is the star map of the Pleiades, the X that marks the spots, the Sol 2 and Sol 3. These are the 3 suns, and that is the Pleiades. I'm going to show you how this template develops. You put the Pleiades over it, look at the correlation. Pleiades. Look at the correlations, even the small dots, small anomalies, all over the show. There's 3 there, there's 3. There's a group of 3 at the top. 3 little mounds. There are 3 stars coming out of the Pleiades there. These are real suns. There are 3 sun-like stars in this position. That is the template that I've established, that I'm using on all ancient sites. This is the most important one that's coming up the most. The others find these other 2 as secondary and tertiary importance. Save it for another lecture, going into the Mars star map, but there's a lot happening down here now and to the side here. I want to look at the whole area from higher up. This is the Mars Odyssey picture from ESA, European Space Agency. Martin Molnargov has made this amazing graphic showing what it once looked like. We both believe, I did a very simple version in my book, but Martin took it one step further and made it really fantastic. There are the 3 suns, causeways from these ruins on Mars. That is coincidentally the edge of where the old ocean was. It's on a coastal portion of geographically ocean edge. So it was built right next to the water. Now look at this pattern. This is on the nose of the cosmic lion. There's a giant lion's face here. Look very carefully as we zoom in now. There's the Pleiades face, Dean Pyramid. Can you see the lion's face? Got to credit B.C. Shepherd for this theory. He discovered it. It is a cosmic lion. This is just like the lion in Egypt. It's just like the cosmic puma of the Inca. They all have this cosmic lion as an important founding monument. Orion is here as well. If this is the Pleiades, we need to look for the Orion belt down this way. And what do we have here? Looks like a tail. Is this a coincidence? There's your ocean edge. I don't think this is a coincidence. And you see what follows next. We look for ancient depictions of a lion with the Pleiades, sun, stars, and Orion on the back. Would you believe it's a common theme on Earth? That's what it would have looked like I suppose when you fly over Mars from a very high altitude. How are these cosmic depictions of the so-called green line? They even called it a green line, a cosmic green plasma. I think the plasmas are green, but it looks green because it was a green belt area, so it was green on the ground in this depiction on Cydonia on Mars. The first one is the Indus seal. This Indus seal is a full star map here. Lion, cosmic serpent, conduit from its mouth, and on the back of it a deity riding the cosmic serpent plasma ribbon. It shows the tree of life aspect to the side of it. Follow the 3 belt stars of Orion to the Pleiades. So we've got Orion over the back of the lion. Not a good depiction if you want to compare it to Cydonia exactly, but it's still the same theme, Pleiades by the mouth. Okay, that's pretty much what we had. Pleiades, lion's head, Orion above the back. So you can see the 2 are very similar. Another Indus seal, just to quickly show the Omega. They knew the Omega symbol as well as a gate, the deity popping through the gate. This little seal is fantastic. You're going to see just now how this one is the key in unlocking a Kuduru stone. 3 belt stars of Orion, man riding the lion on the back of the lion. It's very similar to the Indus seal. Remember, we have the man on top of the lion, Pleiades. Okay. Now this is the Sumerian depiction, riding the cosmic lion, Pleiades, coming out of a cosmic serpent. There's a face within the dragon, and they make it more personalized, more humanized. Let's call it personification, and a rod being used. disk that flies is here, but these are the two other symbols for the three suns. One is being active. These are the three symbols for the three stargates. An arrow pointing up, looks like a nail that goes down, and the active serpent. Remember those three symbols. In Nemrut, Dagi in Turkey, there's a pyramid ruin, and what do we have here on a stela? 3 stars of Orion on the back of the line. This is exactly what I'm looking for. This is exactly the same as Sidonia. And if you think there's not enough stars on the face to complete it with the Pleiades, let's just highlight them. The Pleiades are there, and 3 suns and 1 exoplanet. It's complete, absolutely complete. There are more stars thrown into the cosmic line, and there are coins that show very similar. Pleiades on the back, 3 suns, or it could be a 4th one being our sun, but there's one very important sun on the back of the lion. In manuscripts that are illuminated, the Rosicrucian Alchemy German manuscript, there's your green line. There, the 3 suns on the face of the lion, and of the monarchy symbol for the stargate is the crown. Same thing as Mars. The Philosophia Romata 1622 depiction of the cosmic lion with the sun by its mouth, 7 stars within its body, the second one down here. I'm pretty sure it's showing that. As I say, this thing repeats, this pattern repeats many times in many ancient illuminated manuscripts. This segment now deals with the origin of bull worship, the Mithras mysteries, ancient Rome depictions of the earliest religions of bull worship, venerating the bull, the cosmic bull, Pleiades on the back of the Mithras deity. This could be the origins of the Superman legend. He's wearing a blue suit and a red cape, and he is a superhero. And there's one in the background with a cape as well, opening portal to these 3 single sun-like stars, we believe. Martin Molnagov found the 3 suns. I missed it completely. And the Pleiades and the cape is a fantastic correlation. There's a lot more happening here. He's severing the leg of the bull. This is the mystery of the stars of the Pleiades, are depicted as a leg shape, that the bull had its leg cut off and it was drifting behind its head. But of course, a cosmic serpent from the leg of the bull through to Scorpio. This is where our solar system is viewed from. When you're at the Pleiades and looking for our solar system, our sun resides right here. I'm going to show some fantastic graphics that prove that. And that is why the alpha bull is seeded with its male anatomy, the sacred masculine, with the cosmic serpent from the area of the Pleiades. That's a view. If you had to look from the Pleiades area, there is our Earth, there is our Sun. That is where it resides when viewed from the Pleiades. Isn't it fantastic that we have a star map showing that the ancients saw where we are? One of the Nostradamus mysteries, he drew sketches as well, pictographically showed the whole thing with Scorpio as well, and a stargate opening in the pincers of Scorpio. This is a prophecy of a stargate opening in our solar system, without a doubt. Pretty much that. From those 3, there they are there, the 3 suns. But here's the interesting thing where I put the question mark. There's a golden V shape. Is it the golden V for Taurus? Or is it a flying ship that has this V formation? You can decide for yourself. This famous sighting of the Phoenix Lights, they said there was a mile wide spaceship, a UFO. Must have come out of a cosmic conduit in the sky. Think of a cosmic stargate in the sky. You'd have to have one very large stargate. This whole V-shape would have to be straightened out, perhaps, so it could fit through a very small gate, because it would need a very large gate if it was a mile wide or a mile long. If it was long, if this whole thing can hinge around here and open into a long cigar-shaped object, then it would be able to pass through a stargate. Think of that sort of clever design. It would need to be cigar-shaped or long rod that's flying in the sky. Egyptian clues. Horus with his white scepter. I believe this is what opens the stargate. And of course it is dragon head decorated. We'd expect that. And a tuning fork type design. Some sort of energy displacement is released from this rod. And a little bit more description here if you want to just go into it and have a chance to read it. Depictions of the Christ again in a stargate, decoding churches. Now that you know all these symbols, look at what you see in churches. You often see a lion, this cosmic lion, the angel, the entity that comes from the heavens, our ancestors. He points to the three suns. We have one behind his head, one behind his back here, and a third one down here. And of course the eagle is always found in these depictions, and the bull. Bull for Taurus, it's upside down bull, they're the horns. And the eagle with the sun halo, sun halo, sun halo. The bull has got the sun behind his head, just like the Egyptians. Decoding it, there's a lot more happening here. Not just the Alpha and Omega story, but the exoplanet and the sun. Orion. On the chest, the cross was there. And what he's sitting on. I don't think it's a cushion. I think it's that he's riding the celestial ship, that which makes a cloud. It is no cushion. That is a cigar-shaped object of the heavens, in my opinion. The stars in the background. Many depictions of angels or the Christ figure with the gate, the stargate. Coincidence? Just artistic? Or was it really showing that stargates were used? Of course, there's always a sun behind the Christ as well, and a second and a third. Depictions of the Mayan gods, earphones, microphones, speaking devices, nose breathing devices that connect into the nose. Very detailed depictions. Helmets that look like the dragon face. There's the earpiece and the microphone. This is what they saw, and this is what they recorded. The people that traversed the stargate from Three Suns. This is one of my replicas that I'm marketing to collectors. The Bal Stella has an ancient astronaut. Von Daniken made this very famous, realizing that there was a breathing device on the back. But there's a lot more happening here. Okay, there's a human inside, and there's a gas breathing vapor. I believe what we have is the eagle's face with the Pleiades. Martin Molnagov found the Pleiades depiction here. Fantastic. This is 100% concurring with what he's saying. And the side view. This is the front view of the cosmic conduit. There's a second one here with the deity reaching out of the dragon face, or the opening conduit. It looks like a lotus flower opening. And he is bringing something. What it could be, anybody's guess. But of course wearing the same earphone and microphone. This is available to collectors. If you go to the text that goes with this document at the back of the DVD cover, my contact, thehiddenrecords.com, you can find it all there. That's what I think it's showing. I think it's a woman as well. She looks more feminine with the shoulders, and I think the detail over the front part is probably more of her garments being feminine. It's more of a feminine shape covering her part of her body that makes her feminine. Let's just say that without getting too detailed. The Vajra is a mythological device. Zeus had a very similar device. You'll see them in Sumerian depictions, Mayan depictions, ancient Indian depictions, the Hindu Indian depictions. I believe this is another device that opens up stargates. There's a picture of a man holding a Vajra here, but I want to just quickly show 4 elements in the Sumerian seal. It's another replica that I've made available to the public. This one shows everything. It shows the cosmic tree and the star map, and riding the the stargate of Taurus. You'll see there's a Taurus representation with the deity. But these are the 4 elements. Firstly, Pleiades. Secondly, exoplanet. Thirdly, the disk that flies, that's the UFO. And fourthly, this exoplanet sun star. So that'll be the sun star and the exoplanet. These two go together. And of course, here showing right next to this exoplanet a wormhole open. There it is, right there. This is a fantastic stellar. Well, I've made it into a stellar. It's actually a seal copy. It's a very tiny seal that's been made 35 centimeters in size. This is the actual size pointing to it. The detail here is fantastic. That's what I think it's showing. Man standing above the back of the bull. The Vajras that he uses to open it. He opens the cosmic wormhole. That, I think, is the place of origin for the Pleiades. Okay, and then of course there's this little bit at the bottom with a comet. This is a whole new story, because the end times predicts some sort of a comet appearance in the sky. That's another lecture. And of course, the tree of life, the UFO above the tree of life, and entities interacting with this cosmic tree of life that I show. That's where I had my near-death experience, the cosmic tree. There it is, right there. Strange. Could be a comet-like effect near that area. And of course, the sacred feminine, the yoni and the lingam, Hindu sacred feminine and masculine. We'll look at that a bit closer. But there it is. There's another depiction for the wormhole. The sacred feminine. Vesica Pisces, 2 circles intertwining, and the 2 suns make that shape as well. Some Hindu depictions with the Vajra, same thing. The man on the back with looked like more like the Zeus depiction with these Vajra. The pictures speak for themselves. In my near-death experience, this is what I remember. And I've seen another woman's depiction, the Betty Andrewson story, Betty Luca. She had exactly the same experience of being induced out of your body as a soul, learning at this place of the tree of life. This is what I experienced, and this is what she experienced. She doesn't believe that this is the cosmic core of the universe or the creation or where souls traverse, but it's something that's still yet to be proven and discovered. But in my opinion, this is the core of the universe. This is the tree of life, light nucleus at the middle of the universe. It's time to look now at the sunstone of the Maya. You'll notice the Aztec calendar, or the Maya calendar. It's not a calendar at all. It does have a time marker system on it. I want to now use my replica to show the detail, because the replica obviously has the right lighting angle and shading to see everything. Looking up close on the original, this is the one now in the Mexican Museum. It's massive. It's 3 meters tall. The center part, I believe, is the cosmic traveler. He is shown as a blonde-haired entity and has the earphones, microphone, nose breathing devices missing. The goggles are just visible. And I believe he is shown as the 3rd middle sun with 2 outer ones, or, and I still think this is probably the most likely interpretation, he is the initiate of the Orion's belt. He is in the middle star of Orion's belt, and this is the Orion constellation with the 3 belt stars in the middle. Let's look closely at that possibility. Orion's belt right there in the middle. This is the actual artifact that's 3 meters tall, and we're using my replica available to the public to show the finer detail that shows the star map that I'm going to reveal right now. I believe it's the Pleiades, and the way to get to the sun following Orion's belt. They carved it on the outside very roughly. Obviously this was done very beautifully in the beginning on a normal stone that was not broken. this could have been the capstone for the Stargate because it was found flat. I'd like to know what they might have found underneath it. Movies often use fiction to cloak fact, and I think in the Stargate movie this was the capstone. And we have what I think is the exit marks the spot in the star map. I'll show you breaking down the device that dials up the Stargate is in the middle of it. It's all showing as a teaching mechanism with the cosmic dragons and faces down here. Here's Orion depicted. Even the sword of Orion is shown here, right there. That's why I think Orion is the most probable interpretation, that the cosmic traveler is depicted as part of Orion. He's personified as Orion's belt. We'll use that artifact now, my replica. Highlighted all the details. Important details to see. Obviously there's a serpent here. A little rattlesnake is the symbol for the Pleiades. It's a cosmic serpent that goes to a little cluster at its tail of stars, the Pleiades. We also have a cross symbol, just like the double cross of the churches. And we have the flint symbol, which I believe is the UFO, and many other researchers have said this is most likely the UFO. There's a second flint here being shown in action coming out of the Stargate, and underneath it is a fantastic depiction of our entire solar system here with our planets. We are the third rock from the sun. This is the cosmic address of here, and that is obviously the place of the Orion and Pleiades where it comes from. So it's the gate opening, and in the back of the gate you see Orion, and of course the dragons that go right around the edge and come from the top. Now looking at the inner parts, I'm going to separate the two rings. There's actually two rings here because they are shown one slightly raised from the other. In the artifact it's quite clear. There's your little rattlesnake for Pleiades. This one here for Orion, being one of the symbols in the Stargate that gets dialed up. Separate the two. These are being used as a dial device. I'm pretty sure that it's placed in the closing of the Stargate when it was sealed with the capstone, all as one stone monument explaining it, how these cosmic dragons and how one uses Orion's belt to find the Pleiades. It goes in that direction where the rattlesnake symbol is, and then they made their own little notes of stars around the outside just by making little pock marks. Can you see the Omega symbol on the base, the giant O and the base here? Just like that. There's your dial-up device now removed from the middle. Looking at it up close. Fiction hiding fact. The little rattlesnake symbol for Pleiades going in that direction seems to fit to the left. There's what I think it's showing. The flint symbol for the UFO. It's a teardrop shape, very likely to be the UFO itself. The landing of the flint knife. The records speak of the flint stone and the gods coming out of the flint stone when it arrived. Orion in the middle. I'm going to now animate it a bit. Pleiades to the side, just so you can see the symbology coming alive. That's what you're seeing in the middle of the gate, and that's the point of origin. You'll see there's also these flames depicted around the edge of the ring. I didn't notice that in the beginning, but of course the story of all these flames is a ring of flames that the ancients traversed through. Cosmic dragons, the entities coming out of the dragons. There's the Pleiades symbol at the end of that little serpent. Orion's belt in the middle. There it is, all as one. That is a replica available to the public. Depictions in some of the codexes show them interacting with the cosmic serpents. You can see it's a big ring on a base. It had a base. Other Stargate depictions, the place of the Jaguar, a Teotihuacan. There is the device on a base. Plasma conduits all entwined. Pleiades shown on a ring, just like the Scottish runes that show spirals with 7 flowers opening, like the lotus flowers opening on it. Astronaut helmets, headphones, microphones, embodied as a dragon head as well, and of course decorated with many worlds, many planets, same the side. and the 3 suns on the base with worlds. This is a fantastic codex page that shows the tree of life, just like that Sumerian seal, and of course a deity in a flying type machine, looks like a time traveling device. And there is the window opening, and what do we have in the window opening? A spiral sun and 7 stars. I'm going to animate it a little bit with color. You can see it, make it highlighted with different colors. You can see what's happening. I'll spread this out as well to show you what is going on. I think that's the A, the alpha with the symbol. NASA used the similar symbol, the alpha symbol, or is it a flying ship? You can decide for yourself. That's what I think it's showing. That is the UFO. Let's go back to that picture. A base with light depicted beneath it, and the important king with serpent conduits coming out from above him and below him. And the V-shaped craft, or the reference for Taurus, you decide for yourself. It's very hard to distinguish right now. And of course the tree of life with the all-seeing eye. Cosmic serpents wound around the cosmic tree. Pleiades, spiral opening stargate. The big breakthrough now. This is the best evidence I've found to date for the stargate. And here it is, the Codex Natal, Mayan codex that shows everything, all in one. A stargate, an omega symbol, cosmic serpent to another. This is probably point of origin, destination. Notice how one is upside down, one is the other way around. You'll see this style of showing one way and one the other way, like upside down. And of course God's interacting. There's that flying device that the deity normally sits in, but it's empty at the moment. We also have the Taurus V-shaped symbol in here, but this is the breakthrough right here. The serpent coming out of the stargate with a Tau symbol in its mouth. This is fantastic. Let's zoom on that one as well. Right. Wormhole opening from a sun. Cosmic serpent with the Tau symbol in its mouth. It's exactly what I'm depicting and shown in my own graphic. This is fantastic. Could it be anything else? Wow. Close-ups of the closed stargate, and then the one at the bottom with the deity is shown slightly different. The ship that flies. Here's the bottom one with it turned this way around, and the deities interacting, being partly engulfed with the cosmic serpent or coming out of it. The Codex Borgia is another one. It's not as good as the one I've just shown you, but again, there's your Omega with the base, the Stargate. Climbing out of it, he's stepping out of the Stargate, holding some sort of a ring device on his arm. The Cosmic Serpent coming literally almost out of his mouth. But here's where it gets very weird. Have you ever heard about how deep does the rabbit hole go? The Maya like to use the rabbit analogy as well with the Omega. Here's an Omega symbol up here with the 7 dots around the Omega, and I believe 7 dots around this area of space for the Pleiades. But this is very weird that it's shown the either 3 suns or 3 stars of Orion. I'm not sure, to be quite honest, but this is really weird, really weird, showing this cosmic rabbit and this depiction. Here's another Orion symbol. I think this is probably the disc that flies, just like the Egyptians. That's what I think it's showing. Have a few seconds to and fro and see if you agree or disagree. Strange that he has blonde hair. Blonde hair is unnatural for this lineage. There was never ever blonde people in this lineage of the Maya. It has another depiction on a stone carving of a cosmic serpent with the 2 heads, and the heads are both within Omega symbols. one pointing down, one pointing up. Notice the triangulation effect in as well for the as above so below depiction. It's probably the point of origin, and here the point of arrival on Earth. Another depiction of a Mayan riding the cosmic serpent like the Egyptians. Is that an Omega symbol? Hard to say on that one. Very similar to that one. Alright, time to look at a bit of science again. Pyramid energy secrets defined and revealed. Right, what you're looking at here, I believe, are the two components of the secrets of stargates, pyramids, and why we probably find stargates within pyramids. Piezoelectricity, it's got a very interesting story behind it. It happens when you compress a block of granite. When you squeeze a block of granite, put a large weight on it, it exerts piezoelectric energy, a very unique, let's call it frequency of energy. And the Schumann resonance you find in the earth is probably what pyramids use, because within pyramids it's been reported that they can measure very low frequency energy patterns, and the two working together are what make these devices work. Probably need a lot of energy for the Stargate device, but they depend on these two amazing forces of the cosmos. Inside the pyramid, there are multiple layers of granite, and that, I believe, works like a capacitor with the Schumann resonance of the earth, and piezoelectric by having the weight of the whole pyramid on top of it. That is the center part of the pyramid, of the Great Pyramid. Notice how this is offset to the side. There's something more important above it, because here is the hot spot of the pyramid, and according to historians, there is nothing there. But recently they've done a scan of the pyramids, and guess what they found? Another whole gallery exists up here, and that is leading to the obvious. There's something up here. I'm going to show you what I think it is. This is for the initiate to lie in the sarcophagus, and he can traverse with alignments to the stars. I have a whole lecture on this in Egypt. One goes to the Tree of Life and one goes to the Pleiades. And that's the simplicity of it. The pyramids of 50 pyramids of Lower Egypt actually make the star map and show the exit marks the spot to traverse to a sun-like star in the Pleiades. Now there's another important part happening on here. I want to just go a bit closer. That's where the sarcophagus would be, and these are the layers of granite that are under pressure, and then the whole weight of the pyramid on top of it. This is what creates that incredible buildup of piezoelectric energy. Close the door. I have a whole lecture showing how this door worked. It had a closing mechanism that closes the door and actually accentuates the resonant echoing of this piezoelectricity in a resonant chamber. What's above it? This is what the scan is suggesting. There's something like another gallery up here. This one, I believe, is another Stargate device will be found. When I say another, there's been plenty that have been found, I bet, in the past and have been hidden by the powers that be. That's just my opinion. That, I believe, is what we're going to discover shortly. The book covers the story behind this. Alpha Omega Taurus Stargate book. Let's now look at a Secrets of King Solomon. His name is literally explaining his secret. Solo, sun, moon. It should be moon, but it's a crescent world as well. So it's a sun and a crescent world, most likely in contention here in Taurus. He's named after this story. And of course, the King Solomon parchment that I found in Clavicular Solomon's manuscript in the British Library is one of the talismans by King Solomon. And this is a whole lecture on its own. It's way too complex, but basically we have Orion in the Stargate address up here, like we have on the Maya version. But where are the Pleiades? Would you believe this is a puzzle? A cipher pattern that needs to be joined together to make the Pleiades. So the key of King Solomon is Orion. There is his key. This is showing the story of Orion. This is King Solomon's key. It's Orion. It shows the way. It even aligns to the star in the middle with exoplanets and a beam of light or a stargate coming from it. It's on the ecliptic with two suns, sunrise, sunset. This is how you decode the star map. That's another lecture for another day. In ancient Hebrew tombs, they're finding Omega symbols where a person's head is laid upon. The wreath origins are probably what took over the stone Omega symbol. So the wreath and the stone tomb Omega symbol are the same from ancient Israeli tombs. A bit of my symbology. What we've been looking at is the area of the Pleiades with these three suns as the sacred feminine, the down pointing triangle, and the monument on the ground is the up pointing triangle, and the two merge together to make that symbol, the Star of King David. Remember, it's a star of King David. They use the menorah to celebrate the Pleiades. You can see Orion in this menorah. This is the equivalent of the chalice grail ritual. There's the male anatomy, the womb, the sacred feminine of the Pleiades, and three suns. Here, the three suns are left out. It's just showing the Pleiades. There are many depictions. This is another one of the Solomon talismans. This to me is very important for proving the Tau of Taurus, the T, and the star has 7 elements. Here are the elements around it. The central one has got its own little T down here. But there are 7 elements to the Star of David. There's an Omega symbol and an Alpha symbol, and totally expected. Stargate. 3 suns making a T shape. That to me proves the Tau is Taurus and there are 3 suns being depicted. That is real history. The Göbekli Tepe monuments, a giant T for Taurus, Tau, cosmic serpents, Templar references to the Trinity with cosmic serpents and a cosmic feline lion. The solar Trinity of 3 suns, symbols. All these symbols are all in other lectures to follow. That's basically what I'm saying. At any time, come back and press pause and look at the graphics. The Hermetic Brotherhood of Luxor, the Ouroboros serpent, representing the Stargate with the cosmic serpent. 3 suns, 1, 2. Where is the third one? The third one is probably in the background, filling the main part of the base here. But there's many 2 being shown here: the lion, the bull, the angel, the eagle. Christian symbols, Pleiades, and to follow the cosmic serpent to the Pleiades. So it's an arrow following, and we're using the cosmic serpent analogy. There are many variations of the Tau symbol with a circle on top of it. It is a completely different symbol and acknowledged as a different symbol to the Ankh. There are also Mayan glyphs that show the Tau T within the opening of a glyph, just like a cartouche in Egypt with 3 aspects below it. And in Egypt you'll see a living Ankh depiction. I want to propose the Ankh as the Tau cross of Taurus with a Stargate opening on top of it with 3 suns in the background. And the reason this is shown as a living Ankh is because the entities that look after life are the grey aliens. Aliens that have this very large head that watches over life. They were known as the Watchers Over Life angels. The hammer of what's his name? Norse mythology of Thor. There's the hammer with the Solar Trinity emblem in it. This is a Tau cross. And of course in the coin we see Orion even being depicted in here. Looking at Sumerian records, this is the tablet of Shamash. cosmic serpent, 3 suns, the Omega symbol. All these start making sense now, and they're celebrating the placing of a sun monument on top of a temple, but the temple is on a pyramid. There it is right there. All easy to decode once you know what you're looking at. They're the 3 suns, one with the crescents, usually the pattern. Quite easy to decode once you know what's going on. Another Sumerian seal showing the tree of life. There's your Omega symbol. Interaction of the deities, the Omega symbols upside down here. This one's the right way around. And the deity saying perhaps in this case the flying ship also passes through a stargate, or there's a stargate inside the flying ship. Both fit the story, and you'd need both of them to traverse space anyway, so take it which any way you like. Now, this artifact in the Berlin Museum I've called the Genesis Stela because it is a stone tablet that shows the best star map to date and the explanation of how the ancients came from 3 suns. The detail is very, very ancient. I mean, it's so old and eroded. I'm going to be using my artifact, which is available to the public, and decode it accordingly with the artifact. But let's look at the diagram first, just for simplicity. 3 suns, cosmic serpent touches down on the earth, and I believe it's our sun symbol. The Pleiades are up by the 3 suns, and of course traversing this direction they're following towards Scorpio, the opening of the pincers. This is a boot. It doesn't look like a boot, but it's actually just like in the story of Aladdin. There's weird leather boots that they wore, and the eagle symbol for founding civilization. It has the story of 3 sun gates here with 3 temples. This one is active, landing, and these 2 look like they're capped. They're capped with the Sumerian crown with the 3 horns for probably the 3 suns. And here we have 2 cosmic dragons out of lotus flowers looking on, because one is active. There are 3 on the ground here and 3 suns above. These 3 on the ground, they're the symbols, the arrow pointing up. Looks like a weird shaped pillar with a flanged top. And the stargate is in the sky. This, I think, is evidence of a stargate that is in the sky, that the journey from the 3 suns traverse and open up in a stargate in space before it enters the one on the ground. I'm going to look at that in detail on the actual artifact. This is the replica available to the public. It's about 35 centimeters wide. The detail we'll discuss now. There I've spread it apart, and I've put the Omega, instead of it being where it is there floating in space, the serpent would pass through it. Just to make it more descriptive, there's the one upside down opening, the one the right way around. The right way around really should be over the serpent, but it is depicted without it. But for the sake of the story, this is what is really going on. The one in space landing on one that opens up on the ground. As above, so below. These 3 temples, Temple 1, Temple 2, and Temple 3. 3 and 2 seem to be inactive, with lion dragons guarding them. This one has a more like a Taurus deity, or a Aryan ram, for the representation of the story of either the Taurus or Ram area. But this cosmic serpent is active. It's coming out. Look at it again on the depiction of the replica. The serpent is active, coming out of this temple. And there it is, basically in action here. This is where the serpent touches down, and there it is open. Going back to that seal, the Sumerian seal now makes a lot of sense. Those are the symbols that are for those 3 monuments on the ground. Here they are here, 1, 2, and the 3rd one active. The 3rd one active, in this case the man is climbing out of it, following Orion to the Pleiades from that exoplanet. Looking at the 3 suns, you'll see there's 3 planets as well if you look closely. The cross is shown over it as well to teach of Orion. Now the back of this stone will show Orion in full description, but they put the cross even over the middle one. These are what the ziggurats look like. This is a 7-tiered ziggurat. 7 tiers, I think, for one pyramid over the other. That, I think, represents the Pleiades when it's shown like that with 7 tiers. And there's the temple monument on the top. Notice how it looks like these little descriptions down here. There's the temple, and it was on top of a pyramid. And that is the placing of that monument from the Shamash stela. Depictions of traveling from the Pleiades, cosmic lions, Orion on the back of the lion. There is another one, Orion on the back of this cosmic lion. The crown on it, the monarchy had the secret, and that's another symbol for the Stargate. And then there's 3 suns and a crescented world. It's showing pretty much the same thing as Mars and the Genesis Stella, the Kuduru. All the same thing. Touching down on the ground through the dragon. Coincidence? I'm showing a little bit more here on another replica that I've made available to the public. It's a replica of the Senmut tomb. I've made it on a stone stela. This is the roof of a tomb in Egypt. What you're getting here is this leg of the bull, the sun-like star. You follow it down through the Atlas Pleione stars. You find a Ra symbol for the sun. And it's a tiny one, and it's in the night sky if it's shown with stars. There's Orion showing the way to it, and it's also showing us the opening of the Stargate rod from this area. There's what we're looking at right now. That's why I've shown this. Scorpio is as well, right there. There's the reference towards Earth through the pores of the Scorpion, where our sun lies. That entity is known as Serket, and these are the different symbols for Serket, shown like this, with a scorpion with a big orb between the claws of the scorpion, just like that, or that, and there it is in simplicity. Looking at our solar system from the Pleiades, the scorpion with the sun between its claws. That is our sun in this depiction. Behold, there it is. That's pretty much what she's showing with her arms in the Uranus position. Right, we have the stela that's in the sea, off the shore, the lost city of Alexandria. Under the sea, look closely at this detail. It has a Shen symbol, a scorpion, the tree of life, and something that my Hungarian researcher friend Martin has decoded. That on top of the tree of life, and this living tree of life, it's been personified, the Shen symbol, the Stargate, to the area of the scorpion. That is probably a depiction of a UFO that has the cosmic serpent within it, the cosmic serpent that comes out of the Stargate. It's literally telling the story, the place where these gods come from and where they go to. Looking at the Inca golden star map, it's a good time to show it because for 2 reasons. The cosmic serpent dragon is here. This is the 2-meter size golden star map in Cusco. I've made a replica, and we're going to use my replica to look at the closer detail because this one has a lot of bad light reflection of it. Pleiades, 3 suns, 1, 2, 3. They show the suns as oblong. This is just a very big one because it's also a Stargate sun, because you're looking through a hole and we're seeing an exoplanet here. Here's my replica. We're going to look at that for close detail. This is available to the public. Is my encoding, decoding interpretation. The debris of the comet, that's a story for another lecture. Cosmic dragon would have gone right around the whole temple. This is the shape of a temple because this was inside a temple. This is a model of what was taken by the Spanish invasion. The whole of the Curicancha inside of the main temple was ordained full of gold. And the journey from the exoplanet went right around the temple. That's why it comes off here and it comes back on the other side. It goes right around the whole room to here. That's my opinion. And of course, South America shape and landing here in our solar system. Depictions of Egyptian records compared with Sumerian. Ishtar holding Omega symbols. Where's the Omega symbol with the Egyptian? The Hathor hairstyle is a symbolic symbol. Ask any scholar and they'll tell you that is a symbolic symbol. They don't say exactly what though. It's a very important symbol of the Omega in this depiction. Riding the cosmic lion, riding the cosmic line. Just like in the Egyptian depictions with the two heads, they're showing both sides of the monument of the lion. There is the sun touching down on with a crescent. Look carefully. There is the sun with a crescent above her head. It's all there. All the same story. Two different civilizations. Sacred feminine from the Pleiades. Cosmic conduit headgear. Cosmic conduit serpent in this case. I have a duplicate of this papyrus for collectors if you're interested. I want to show another artifact that tells the story from the back of the bull. The entity does something with his finger, like he's making a sound, maybe a whistle, and his foot stepping out of the cosmic stargate. There's the Alpha and Omega symbol. The crook and the flail. We showed how, that's what I believed the interpretation is early on. There's the artifact. It's so damaged. It was probably a reject because the kiln curing of this artifact, the colors all ran and it's very damaged. But anyway, there is the artifact. I'm going to be using a replica to see the full detail. There is the entity exactly shown. He was in the serpent there. Now, the other symbol for the cosmic conduit is the opening lotus flower. Both show the same story. But this one shows the Omega symbol. This is the Omega Stargate in action, in my opinion. Showing that. The Shen is the Stargate. Looking at the detail that the cosmic serpents are holding the Shen symbols. They're on top of temples, just like the Sumerian depictions of temples. And we have the three suns in the window, exactly like the other. Just like that. Now I want to compare it to the Inca star map. Large one in the middle, two smaller suns on the outside. There's Orion showing the way to it. Follow Orion. There's the exoplanet in the open window. But there are three suns, just like you see with the Stargate with three suns here. These three suns are being depicted here. So there's a match. We spoke earlier on about the grey entity and the fertility god, the Ankh symbol origins. It is a living Ankh. What we're looking at here is the evolution of the Ankh from an entity in a teaching mechanism of life as a life symbol. African tribes in the northern part of Africa have fertility gods shown as this, and this particular one shows I think the three suns. The Dogon tribe, northwards of the Dogon tribe, I'm proposing that this is how the Ankh teaching originated. This is the life entity, the cherubim, the one that looks after all life, an alien species that studied perhaps human life and protected it. They come from the tree of life. They look after the tree of life as well, the place of creation, in my opinion, and from my life, my near-death experience nearly 30 years ago. That's the artifact that Tutankhamun had to put his mirror inside. It was a mirror box, so we had a mirror, a very ornate mirror inside, and the detail on it is absolutely amazing. I have a replica that I'm going to be comparing to analyze the detail. This is my replica. It's available to the public. It's a reconstructed piece. This is what it once looked like. Obviously the way it looks there, it's really deteriorated. It's falling apart. It's wooden with gold leaf. So we'll look at the replica for the finer detail. The ankh is shown in many depictions as a living ankh, that this is an entity that is involved with celestial ships and the highest of importance deities. And here it is. On this particular Tutankhamun mirror box artifact, we have the Shen. It shows the plasma ribbon cosmic serpent coming out of it, just like this depiction here. There are 3 suns, one primary, secondary and tertiary, and the name of Tutankhamun is using the glyphs above the opening flower, the lotus flower, as the symbol for the wormhole opening. You see the 2 on each side with Shen stargates, but the third one is looking down upon it. This is looking down upon that lotus flower, so you see it in the background here with Tutankhamun's name. Now here is the breakthrough artifact that really sort of shows the shape of the Stargate ring and how it connects to the Ankh. The Ankh is basically a Tau T symbol with the Stargate on top of it, but it's been distorted to show the shape of the entity, the living entity that looks over all life. And of course it adapted the life symbol. But these two are connected. Look at the 3 suns, just like that. The entity, the lotus flowers at the bottom, it's all here. We've compared 3 sizes. They're found in places all over the world. There they are again. A large sun portal and 2 smaller ones. Paris, Egypt, the Inca. Many of them have this exact same thing. Now we can compare those 2 suns with the Inca record. One primary, tertiary. This is where the big sun disk was mounted. This is probably just the portal window that opens to that sun. It's not showing the actual sun, which is an oval face as well. It's not there, it's missing. And that is the position of it. And there we have the same symbology. I'm looking at the bronze statue in Cuzco of Pachacuti, one of the great kings that perhaps had first contact with the entities that came from above, their ancestors as well. And if you look at his headdress of that sun disk, this is a particular symbolism that I want to analyze right now, because it shows the sun with a face, but the face is made up out of 3 suns in its own, and an omega symbol. Then we can see the upside down omega symbol, and these 3 parts of the face are the representation of a primary sun and 2 smaller suns. Should turn it the other way around, then you can see all in a teaching of the humanity origin, the face of the human on a sun disk, and a disk that came down. It was a UFO object that was disc shaped, and it shone like the sun. Here's our primary sun, secondary, tertiary, the portal, the Stargate, the omega symbol. There's a Maya sun disk as well in the Mexican Museum, I think it is. 3 suns, omega symbol, the cross beneath it, expectedly that aligns to find these 3 suns, and it's in the window of the portal. Look at the strange, I would say it's likened to the swastika, the way that these spines all spiral, they're all are flowing outwards at an angle and turning. You'll see it in many depictions, like there's your swastika and it's going in that sort of spiraling direction. And the Cahokia shell, it's an American Indian replica, artifact. It has 3 primary suns, Orion beneath it, the portal. Just like this one. 2 different cultures, just like the Egyptian. The Hindu records of a dragon and 3 suns, the sacred feminine, the sacred masculine, and deities and flying ships. 3 suns, the one on the right always seems to have this sickle crescent. The male anatomy, Orion showing the way through to the sacred feminine area where the cosmic dragon mouth opens. And of course we have this one in the center being primary. There's a little bit more detail here, and my interpretation of it is these are possibly 2 worlds with this important central sun-like star position. All of them, all in one big nutshell. There's obviously a bigger story to the Solar Trinity, especially in the illuminated manuscripts. There's a lot in the story, and that is for another lecture. This is mainly about the Stargate connection to it. All repeating the same pattern. Coincidence? Perhaps not. In the Revelation text, I will look for an example that would show a little bit more than the 7 stars in the messenger's hand. And it speaks of the 7 churches. Somebody wrote to me and said, am I aware that the full road connection between the 7 churches looks like the leg of the bull? And it's quite amazingly true. And if this is true, we have another star map using these 7 churches. And if you look at where Aleppo is positioned today, that is the exit marks the spot. If you follow the leg of the bull, there's a face monument ruin there as well in Aleppo. As you know, Aleppo is the place where the most atrocities have occurred on humanity. Millions have perished. Millions displaced. It's quite horrific. The numbers that we're seeing today are all hidden. If you can't see the shape of the leg of the bull, there's the the most famous bronze bull in Wall Street. You take that front leg, very similar shape. That which represents the Pleiades in a star map. Looking at other references for the 7-headed dragon, this is Mayan. I mean, it's pretty amazing that they show this in this way. We have the Hindu representations of the cosmic serpent, 7 heads, 7 suns. Oh, sorry, that's incorrect. 7 stars in this connection. 1 primary sun. And these are not sun-like. This is the Pleiades link. Now, the Egyptian Uranus cobra, where are the 7 heads? I had a closer look, and on some of the artifacts you can see them here. There's six more to go with the primary. It's actually part of the decoration. Isn't that amazing? They all have the same thing. A Sumerian example, one that has been severed. This is quite a big clue here that for some reason one stargate, perhaps symbolic, has been severed, has been ended. Bull-headed deity, Sumerian. Bull-headed for Taurus. All right. This mural comes from the area below the Vatican grottos, the underworld. It is laid out in an Orion constellation design, and in the Pope Pius tomb, look closely at this mural. I'm going to decode it for you because there's a lot of important detail that is reproduced here. This isn't that old. It's let's call it modern secret society interpretation. They've also shown a severed head, just like the Sumerian version. But look at the detail at the top here, especially those 2 and this one right here, and then the 7 other streaks. There's a crescent as well, right there. The exoplanet. 3 suns. Cosmic conduits. 1 has been lost. Perhaps I offered in my research that it's probably a lost star. There is an 8th star that has gone out in the Pleiades. The Mars star map shows the position of a pyramid for that 8th lost star. And the reason there's a big nebula in the Pleiades. On the other side of this tomb wall, we have a different version of the Revelation story. And I should have mentioned this could be a portal in the previous interpretation, because we have this thing, if you look carefully, it is shown within a portal. But what's interesting here is the layout of the ground, like the 7 hills of Rome. It does seem to make a leg of the bull position, and there are 7 candles, 7 lights, the menorah, the symbol for the Pleiades, and there's a bit more here. The cosmic hand of the messenger holding the 7 stars. Looking back at the Beatrice manuscript, Martin Mollegrub found that this was the star map, the three suns. This little pattern makes a beautiful 7-swirl Pleiades, and it's a monarchy head that has hidden this very upset dragon. This benevolent tree of life connected plasma network has been hidden by monarchy. I wanted to show another page that has the Omega as well, and the gate of heaven is shown in an Omega symbol. There's an Orion cross beneath it, and 7 angels of the feminine, referencing 4 Pleiades. Orion, Pleiades, the gates of heaven. The star map, you can see the shapes, the 3, even marked differently. And the symbol for Orion as well, the Chiro and the Grail. They're all hidden secrets by the monarchy of the star map, in my opinion. That star map. Looking at these symbols, this 8-pointed star is found in the Oak Island story as well. That is part of a star map story. It's on my website. That will be another lecture as well in DVD. That's the one from Oak Island. The Rosicrucian rose is shown in the middle of it, is a Rosicrucian coin here, but look at the detail of this particular one. Right here, look closely over there. Is that a portal opening by the head of one of the people having a discussion? Is it the Christ figure? We also have the Globus the Cruciber Globus symbol here. Is that the Pleiades in the top part of the coin? 7 dots. There's a legend of a 3-headed entity, and you'll see it in different things, Sumerian illuminated manuscripts. I believe those 3 heads are relating to 3 suns. We have the crown as another conduit opening to the 3rd one, the primary one. And we have the same thing, the Omega symbol as well, on the Sumerian version. The lecture now takes a turn towards the symbols of the Stargate. What symbols are there that show the operating functions of the Stargate? The so-called stone bags that the Sumerians carried in their hand. There is a massive clue, because the Sumerians show this present at the opening of the Stargate. Just like that. The second primary clue is what many refer to as a pine cone, or something that represents the pineal gland. I propose that it's a dragon egg to operate the opening of the dragon. So it's a dragon egg and the stone bag. What could be the design behind this? In Göbekli Tepe you see them as well. They were all over the world. It's a feature with the Stargates. Sumerian artifacts in the museum. Look at the different types of them, and the patterns on them are absolutely amazing. We'll look at them closely up in fine detail. What I want to propose is these simple stone devices are just stones, but they are stones that are sourced from the area where the Stargate was operational. And this stone, it's, let's call it chemical makeup. The exact matrix of this stone is a key in getting the person back to where they came from, back to their home Stargate. And that is where that stone is common. That is as simple as it is. The creation is the way that this operates. If you think of the branches of the tree of life, of what they're traversing up and down, then the creation knows every planet that it's created, that where this exact matrix of stone is located is where that person will return on their return journey. What's interesting in some of these are the decorations of stars, bulls, cosmic bulls, and something on the back of the bull's back, and these conduits that go to the back of the bull's back. Cosmic dragon conduits, cosmic pumas, the bird-headed symbol, founding civilization. Temples, twining cosmic conduits. The lion and the bull, whatever that means, still yet to find out. Scorpion deities for Scorpio. You've seen how Scorpio is where our sun is located when viewed from the Pleiades. Little scorpions up here as well. Interaction between deities, cosmic pumas, and the scorpion. It's all the star map. Interaction for the star map. This one is very hard to see. Could be Orion Hunter. Very hard to say what it is, but it's the same purpose. Now here is something fantastic. Somebody wrote to me and asked, was I aware that my reference to the Mayan vase is the solution to how these bags use the cosmic tree, the branches of the cosmic tree. And then I went looking further and I found, of course, there is a depiction in the Hindu variety of this bag hanging on one of the branches of the cosmic tree. Is this not proof that it's saying this is what these bags tune into? These are how they operate. They operate with the tree of life, with these stargates. These branches of the tree of life are the cosmic conduits. And there is the Mayan vase. Look at it right here, up close and interacting and actually showing plasma passing between the two. Cosmic serpents coming off the cosmic tree. It looks like a serpent around the cosmic tree from the Adam and Eve traditions, if you want to call it that. The two important deities that founded the beginning of civilization for this ancient site. I want to show you what it looks like. You can see even the cosmic serpent coming down onto these Mayan deities. I'm going to go back and forth a few times so you can see the plasma discharges and everything. Plasma bursts like you get in the sun. Okay, sorry, wrong way. Let's go back again. Looks like an ankh symbol there as well. It's been held in a little leather pouch. Right, the Alpha Omega quote in Revelation, the book of Revelation. Those words now, we have two symbols. This is the bull symbol for Taurus, and this is the Omega for the Stargate. If one is saying, I am the Alpha and the Omega, what is that person really saying? This is a major breakthrough. The cosmic messenger with the 7 stars showing him his cosmic address is saying, he is of the tree of life as it is written, the beginning and the end. I am from the Alpha Omega, Taurus Stargate. I am the Alpha, Taurus Stargate. I am from the Taurus Stargate. It's showing his cosmic address and explaining it. Remember the wording? The beginning and the end. Now the beginning and the end part is telling you where the rest of these clues can be found. It's at the beginning and the end of the Bible. In the beginning, the tree of life is there. And at the end, the tree of life is there. The tree of life is the connective power, source, creation behind this message. And that is the whole thing in a nutshell. That this person that arrives explains that they're from the Taurus Stargate and of the tree of life, as it is written in the beginning and the end of the Bible. Decoded. Book of Revelation, Cosmic Messenger. Nostradamus showed it with his depictions of what is to come. The spiral opening, we've covered that already. This is probably one of them that can traverse through that Stargate. If this V-shaped form can hinge around that area to be straight, it will be able to pass through the Stargate. But the most common sighting of ufology, of large UFOs, are the cigar-shaped UFO. And this is one final clue that needs to be decoded. the Adamski cigar-shaped UFO mothership from the 1950s. Adamski says that these UFOs actually come out of this mothership. Look at that shape. This is the common shape that has been pieced together from research. Now, for this to work, it is absolutely fantastic to be long and thin, that it can go through a stargate that is positioned in space. Now, imagine if this sort of thing was found today, if we saw it again today, and these are the 4 clues of an actual sighting that has just recently happened. What would happen to our scientists? How would they interpret this? This is the largest possible design concept if needed to pass through the space portal. Okay, so that's one point. It can create its own microgravity at both ends as it tumbles. So this could because of its length, if it's like 1 kilometer long, it could spin and tumble and create microgravity in both that area and that area. Imagine if it beat all the odds and passed intentionally near Earth's orbit. If this item was seen coming into our solar system, would scientists think it's just a meteor or a comet? Or would they see that it's a lot more? Now, this has all happened. Imagine scientists tracked its origin in deep space. What would the odds be if it also, as per my star map theory, was found to have its origin from the Pleiades star area? This object that has just recently come into our solar system has been hidden and covered up as a comet. It didn't have any comet tail, yet they say it had so much blasted gas coming out from it. For some reason it was invisible. The sun shone on it, and this time it was invisible. That is an absolute nonsense lie. So this is how scientists wanted to look like a rock. Oh, Mau Mau. Its name even means cosmic messenger, coming into our solar system. There's some people that slip that name out, I think, to have a hidden message. How big is it? That's the size of one of our largest aircraft carriers. That's the size of it. It's massive. It's been through our solar system. It came from the Pleiades. There's an astronomer paper linked on our website showing where it comes from, and it's in the Alpha Omega book. The references there. And if people are getting the ebook from Amazon and your links are not working because of your device is not compatible with it, just write to me and I will make that available. If you can just prove you have bought an ebook, then I would gladly give you a copy with the links that are clickable. Look at this particular stone that we were talking about just now. This one has something on the back of the bull. It's just like the thigh of the leg. Look at the design. There it is there. And then it's around the cosmic bull, and we have this strange item here. In my opinion, this is that long, elongated cigar-shaped type UFO that came from the back of the Pleiades behind the bull. And if you look, there's even part of a leg shape in this particular one. There it isn't visible. This one, it shows a little bit extra detail, same type of hoof as well. And that could be the opening conduit. It looks like a mouth, like 2 lips. What are the odds? Now I want to look at the back of this original artifact. I'm using my replica here. My replica is only one-sided, but the back of the original stone has something amazing that completes the star map, because we have Pleiades here, we have going in the direction to Scorpio, but we need Orion. Orion is on the other side of this with Sirius as the star map. Here is the back portion. There's the dog star, Sirius, the 3 markers on the ground for Orion, and the 3 kings as the Magi. Similar to the history in the Bible, the Magi are the 3 stars of Orion that one follows alignment to find the Pleiades, the area of the 3 suns. And there's one more piece of this puzzle right here. What is that in the sky above the 3 kings? Part of the star near the cosmic conduit. I believe it's that depiction of an elongated, the long cigar-shaped type spaceship with an object in front of it. I believe it's bringing a Stargate, and it deployed it possibly on its passing near our Earth, and there is probably an open stargate there waiting to operate right now. That is my opinion. It's just a theory. The cosmic conduit stargate that rides something so holy, literally the hand of God, will show it is real soon. To remove the evil from the earth. That's what the biblical legend is. Lots of ancient civilizations have very similar things, that these visitors were benevolent. They wanted order, and that they took away the evil from the earth when they visited. And this is an important message about this dragon. Fear not the dragon if you are pure of heart. If this is all real, and these visitors come, who are the evil that they would remove? Are there any clues to who are destroying the earth? Well, they show the dragon mouth opening in many depictions, many illuminated manuscripts. This particular one, I don't want to give too much detail. And it shows people being thrown into the dragon's mouth. Okay, this is the gate of hell as well. A stargate will be the gate of hell if you're being deployed in an area on a planet that is really hard to live in. A penal colony type planet. That would be the gate of hell. But it is the benevolent dragon that will remove the evil. Christ figure shown with the green dragon, mouth opening, gates of hell. People stripped of their clothing, being sent. Who are these people that are being thrown into the dragon's mouth? That is the question. There is the answer. The angels that unlock the stargate. There's the dragon mouth. There are 3 major clues in here. If you look carefully inside. That's what it suggests. Our powers that be, that run our civilizations, that are the monarchy systems and the most richest people on the planet, appear to be the ones that are targeted here. The monarchies were taken over by the richest, so they would fit in that category. That's the end of my lecture. It's very long. You need to take breaks between them, obviously. I have more on this replica situation at my website. If you look at my website, the ebook is available at Amazon. It is available in print as well, and I'll promote that on my website when the time comes.
With the earlier Sumerian clay tablets' precise version of the cosmic human origin star map, and how it matched the template at Stonehenge, would come the mindset that had Herschel set out to search the Atlantic Ocean seabed. It would be this clue that would culminate in this documentary's biggest revelation.